Moving right along. Today, the biggest adventure I've got going on so far is putting these drum brakes together. For the first time in my life, I'm going to do some drum brakes. All the parts that are going inside it are brand new except for that bar and spring. That's all. All the springs, all the pins, the adjusters, all that crap. All brand new. It's going in there right now. So what I went ahead and did was I've got the calipers. I'm sorry. It's like Saturday morning. Maybe like 9:30 or something like that. I don't know. Early enough. Been struggling with some of these brake parts and such. I don't know if you've ever done emergency brake cable on one of these with that daggone spring. Yeah, that one right there. It's got a clip that's got to go on there as well, so I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to do that, but trying to figure out how to get that back and hold that back off that cable so I can send that cable through and hook it to the brake shoe, the emergency brake shoe cable. That right there, that, and then put it back, and then I can start building these brakes. So I pulled out the drive shaft. There was a small shaft there, and then there was a long one that attaches to the rear. I finally took everything I had to get the U-joints out of that drive shaft. It was crazy, the beating and the pounding, but I did learn something I thought was really funny. It's like the factory ones, how they're kind of sealed with plastic, so to speak. It goes into this hole inside of the yoke, and it fills it and it holds the U-joint into place, like a clip spring would or such like that. And yeah, it was pretty neat to heat it up real good with the torch and watch it like a wormy thing come out, like you would those worms during the fireworks, 4th of July. The black worms, you'd light them, they get hot and they start squirting out and turn into a big long ash worm. Well, that's what it was like. I didn't understand what my cousin was telling me, and I watched the video and I said, hey, that's neat. It was really neat. But in the meantime, like, you know, as much work as I've done to this truck, and I've done a lot of work to this truck. It's just funny because it's like people think, oh, I'll put a new rear in it, and I put a new set of shocks on it, or I put a new set of springs in the front, or I didn't. You know, that's a lot of work. And if you're like me, when you take things apart, you've got to clean them up before. This truck was a mess. You know, dirty, oily, had all kinds of stuff going on with it. The guy who had it before had put that corrosion coating on it, and all it did was coat any bit of standing rust on the frame, or it was just real sticky and nasty to work with. So I've cleaned all of it out, got it about down to normal, black spray paint and everything else, anything bare, just to clean up of these parts, and the painting and the putting back and everything else takes up so much time. And then, you know, you still have the actual job to do, like changing that rear. You know how much work was done besides building it, with just getting it in there and getting it about hooked up. A lot, and it still ain't done yet. There's just things. So sitting around talking, I was realizing something. I said, you know, I've done, other than my buddy Willie building my rear and transmission shop that built my transmission, everything else on this vehicle I've done myself. I'm like, you know, that's a little too more technical. I've never done a rear. I'm not going to try it unless somebody knows what they're doing to do it. Transmission, went to a transmission shop, was built just right, with a stall converter and everything. So I decided myself, I'm going to finish it off by, I'm going to do the heads and I'm going to do the cam and whatever upgrades I need to do as I'm going along with it. So that's what I'm getting ready to start doing today. I'm getting game plan. Got a table out. I'm going to get me some plastic baggies. I'm going to get me a Sharpie magic marker. I'm going to label everything that comes off every certain thing. Anything is really crazy, I'll take me some pictures, maybe a couple of videos. Because I'm going to yank. I don't know if I can do it while sitting in there. We'll see how that goes. If not, then I'm going to yank this motor. And I'm going to do it right here. That way I'll put in the new oil pump, a new screen, a new gasket for the oil pan, new timing chain cover, all new seals, new water pump, new valve cover gaskets, new valve covers, new air cleaner. I don't know if I'm going to run all the Edelbrock, even though my heads are Edelbrock. I'm just not real. I don't really like this black. Everything's black. Even the motor's black. If I pull the motor all the way out, then I'm not going to make it to and decide to clean up. I doubt I'm going to make it to Ocean City this year. But if I get started now, I should be able to get close to it. Anyway, that's what's going on. And it's still got to go to the alignment shop and get the front end aligned because of the new springs and the new spindles. Yep. Still got to get the rear end filled up with fluids because I haven't touched it. I better go get some today. But the gas tanks are all done. Everything else, the front end is all built. Just needs to be aligned. All that work. Oh, Bug, get up here. And what are you eating on? That's all right. Let's get Bug in the film, huh? Bug. Bug. Girl. I'm going to tell her. I'm going to get her in trouble with me. You better get up here. Thing. Thing. Good dog, right? But she looks petrified. What are you doing? What are you doing, Mutt? That's my girl. What you doing, honey? What you doing, honey? What you doing, honey? But anyway, that's what's going on. I'm gonna do it myself. So, stick with me. Boy, what a mess I've made. A tool bench, a little bit of everything, about everything I need. This is small block Chevy we're talking about. So let me just get into it. So I've been working all this work on this truck and in hopes that everything that I was told about this truck was true. The one thing I was relying on, so yeah, I was relying on it because I knew in my mind that if it fell through, if it didn't come through the way I wanted it to, that I would build me a motor, build me a hot rod, right? I mean, heck, I've already done the rear end, I've already done the transmission. The only thing it hasn't done. So this motor was supposedly a 350 Chevy. The guy I bought it from said, yeah, the guy I bought it from, he put a 350 in it. And then he put those nice, cool looking valve covers and air cleaner on it. You know what I mean? Valve covers. I hate them things. Everything's black. Motor's black. Everything else is black. So the odometer was reading like 65,000 miles on it when I finally parked it. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pull this motor and I'm going to put the heads on it. I'm going to put the cam in it because it's a good running 350. Why not? I mean, this stuff's just for fun. Anyway, I'm not making it into a race truck. It's a fun truck. I got a lot in this and I got a lot of time and I want to enjoy it. I don't want to be worrying about everything all the time. A mild build. So, valve covers off. Get it back in the back. Back in the back. Start finding numbers. Finally could see the numbers back there without everything in my way. And first thing I did was take the numbers, wrote them down, looked them up, and found that this was a 1986 Chevrolet motor 305. This is the same exact motor. It's the motor this truck came with. It's got to be. I mean, the odometer, you can tell it hasn't been over 65,000 miles. The truck's in really good shape in a lot of places. I do believe it's set for a while somewhere. Might have made a reason why some rust exists, but there's really not much to really talk about. Anyway, this motor turned out to be a 305. So right now, I'm in the process of pulling this motor out of here. I'm going to take this motor, put it on my engine stand in my shop, tear it down, put it back together. Might put a different kind of heads on it, maybe put a little cam in it. It's just 305 because I've been wanting a motor for my Sonoma. And since this is a really good running motor, it's just the heads, you know, I believe it was the valve seals, but look how dirty. Just look how dirty it is down in there. No wonder it smoked when I started it up after a set. So like I said, we're going to go through the whole motor. It's not going to do that anymore. And the heads will probably be gone. Most likely they'll be gone. But right now I'm in the process of, am I going to build a motor or am I going to buy a built motor? I'm looking around. I don't know. There's a lot of reasons for one, a lot of reasons for the other. So you see these people that selling these freshly built hot rod motors, and they said I took it out. I was going to go in a different direction. I'm thinking to myself, must not have been fast enough. What are you going to go the next direction? What's slow? So apparently, it has to have something to do with something. And I would think I would rather just fresh build my own junk, and that way I would know. And it is what it is. Instead of spending $4 grand buying a motor from somebody else, just a regular, you know, maybe even a stroker if you're lucky, for about $4 grand. It's about the going rate for a good one. And that's what I've been thinking about, a 383 stroker motor. So I'm going to open up this truck and make it talk. Right? Well, anyway, I'm going to get to it. Videos before this. It's been a while. Appreciate you hanging out. This is another day in the build of the Squarebody. Y'all have a great day.